Hello and welcome to the TimeForce 1 versus iSolved TimeForce product demonstration. We're going to show you a little bit of both products, show you the new product, and talk about the differences between the system. If you're viewing this video, your login screen to TimeForce should look something like this. If you don't have TimeForce today or your TimeForce login looks different, I would contact your sales representative and make sure this is the correct video for you. Now, a couple of big differences between the two systems to get us started. First off, the new system is 100% web-based. There's no longer an option for customers to run this on their own network. Everything is just out in the cloud. We handle everything for you from backups, upgrades, disaster recovery. We manage everything. Your users simply need a web browser to get into the system. The web browsers for the old system were strictly Internet Explorer, and you had to be on specific versions. The new system will run on Internet Explorer or Firefox and runs on the latest versions of both of those. So we have an updated look and feel to the system, and we've also updated the technology behind it as well. Now, for those of you with a technical background, the new system is developed in .NET. The older system was in ASP. So again, kind of the latest and greatest technology there as well. Now, in the old system, you had menu bars going across the top. You click on a menu bar, and underneath the menu bars, of course, you'd have different links to take you to different areas of the system. The new system, the menu bars are just on the left side of the screen. So one of the biggest changes is just going to be how the screens are viewed. You'll have that going down the left side of the screen. Until you're familiar with the menus and what is in what screen, you can simply type in areas you want to go to. For example, if I want to look up accruals, but I don't know where that's at, I can simply type in the word accruals, and the system will take me directly to the employee's accruals. So a handy search feature there till you're used to the system. Another thing that's new in the system is there are no longer numeric codes to represent errors. Instead, they're alpha codes that allow you to set your own abbreviation. So for example, a missed punch might say MP instead of error code number 9. In the top right corner, any user can go in and set their preferences. This is where they could reset their password. It's also where they could set their language preference. So if they wanted to use English, Spanish, or French, English is going to be your default. And you can also set your format on your time to AM, PM, or 12-hour format, or military time. In the old system, everything was forced to military time when it came to entering time into the system. In the new, it gives you an option. And based on the setting you have there, you can still, when adding time into the system, I could type in 1500 or I could type in 3 o'clock p.m., whatever I prefer to enter. It's just whether I view it as AM, PM, or 24-hour, that's going to be up to me as an individual user. Now, let's go ahead and change users and talk about a couple of different views here. First off, we've got a new employee view. And this part's going to be similar for the employees if they're using self-service today. They can log in, they can see their times, and maybe they're able to clock in and clock out. There is the ability for them to sign off on their time card. Sign-offs are now protected by an error checking process. If an employee has a time off request or an error on their timesheet, it will not let them sign off on their time card. Under my username, I've got a section for time off requests, which is going to bring up a calendar for me, and I can go in and request time off via the calendar. In the old system, it looked a little more like this. You'd have the, instead of like a calendar format, you'd have a list of time off requests. A little more cumbersome to get in and do that. Here, I've just got an easy to read calendar. I click this button to request days off, and everything's color coded. Blue waiting for approval, red or green approved and denied, and even your holidays can show up in there as well. For the supervisor, they've got an enhanced look as well. The supervisor now has a formal dashboard in the system. And the dashboard's got a lot of different options, but in my examples here, I've got anyone who has errors in the system and links right to the individual time cards if I want to fix them. a who's in report, who's in, what time they got in, who's out, what time they left, and then everybody's hours and the ability for me as their manager to go in and sign off on the hours. This still has error checking. So if I find an employee on my list here that I want to approve, but they still got an error, so we'll use Alvin for example. I try and approve, it says you can't do that. It's got restricted errors. So it's monitoring that for us. Now from there, the manager could add a widget to this screen for the time off requests, or they can have the same time off request calendar that the employee had. So they can see in a calendar format, go in, click on a specific request and approve or deny that request. So we've just tried to simplify the views for the individual users, as you can see. Now, I'm going to go ahead and switch users one last time here. We're going to go ahead and go to the administrative view. As a general rule, if you could do something in the TimeForce One system, you'll be able to do it in here, and there are enhancements in the system as well. For example, in your accrual policies, if you were using the old system for accruals, the new system can do the accruals as well. Things like holidays have been enhanced. In the old system, you had to create your holidays and each year go in and update that list. In the new system, there's simply automatic recurrence. So for example, Memorial Day, I can set that to be the last Monday in May. It'll know from that point forward to do it. I set it once and I'm done. But I've also got options for holidays like New Year's Day, where I could go in and say, well, New Year's Day is January 1st, but if the holiday falls on a Sunday, maybe we move it to the following Monday, or if it falls on a Saturday, we move it back a day. So there are some options there as far as the holidays go, some enhancements. Obviously, we can still track and pay the holidays, but we've just given you additional options that way. Now from there, there's a myriad of other options that are available in the system. We'd be happy to show these to you. What we'd like to do, if you'd like to see a more detailed presentation or you'd like more information on this, is work with your sales representative and let's set up a product demonstration and we'll walk you through all of the differences and formally introduce you to the new system. Thank you for your time today.